Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. I don't know what time it is. You're welcome. You're watching the podcast Elysian. My name is Gosso, aka Tega, and I'm here finally with the Thesabdog, the one and only. I can't even say it's fair enough that he can introduce himself. Take it away.
What's up, guys? My name's Sebi. Also go by Sab and the Thesabdog. I'm an animator, creative director, everything. I do videography, photography, whatever it is, as long as it's creative, like I'll be doing it. So pleasure to be on the show, man. Nice to meet you.
A little story time. I saw one of Seb videos, and I was so inspired that I was like, I just need to talk to this man face to face. And that's why I've on school I was like just literally being the CIA and like scanning this whole man's life. So my bad for that. But other than that, I'm so grateful to even have this opportunity to talk to a creative like you.
No worries, man. I appreciate you having me on. Let's do it.
On Instagram, I talked to you and I had a couple questions, and one of the questions was that recently the CEO of Patreon, Jack, was on a video and he said like that the landscape of the internet is really going to change as like a shift. It's going to be a big shift, like the death of the follower, and it's going to be like the birth of like the true core follower. And you as a creative and someone as a person that I see that really is trying to grow and everything, and also really interacts with their fans, as you can see. Um, what's your take on that? Because how do you see like the internet like changing these days with like even AI on the upcoming and on that type of way?
So, first of all, I think it's kind of crazy that the internet has allowed so many creatives to like do their thing. You know, even yesterday I was at a concert and there's a guy called Yacht Club. He makes music, and I remember finding him on Spotify at 90,000 monthly listeners. He told me yesterday he was making like $100 a month from music and not like doing it full time. And then his music explodes all over TikTok, all over the internet, and he's like propelled into being able to do music full time and go on tours. And I think it's amazing how social media allows people, musicians, artists, creatives, whatever, like all different type of people, to have the opportunity to like do something different and not just go down the traditional career paths. As far as the progression of the internet and like the death of the follower, I think that it's a difficult game that we have to play, of like learning how to use the algorithm to your advantage without submitting to the algorithm completely.
Right.
So when I've worked on these like past few music videos, I've not once whilst working on them thought like, how do we optimize this for TikTok? How do we optimize this to like go viral and reach more people?
Yeah.
But once it's and I try and focus on the creativity itself and like, how do I make something that's just the best thing possible? And then further down the line, once it's done, it's like, okay, how can we weaponize this and like find a way for it to reach more people? I think as soon as you switch those around and as soon as you go to sort of thinking algorithmically first,
Right.
then I think that your priorities get messed up and you're not prioritizing the creativity, the passion, the love for the art. You're just prioritizing growth and numbers. And if you prioritize that, then I think the people that you attract, the followers that you attract from that, don't actually care that much about what you're making. They just care about maybe the resources that you've given them, or like the I maybe just the topic for that one Instagram reel that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Whereas I've kind of gone and grown really slowly and interacted with like everybody who hits my DMs. And even though I'm not like a hugely famous creative,
No.
I think I've got a lot of people who care about what I'm doing because I prioritize the art first. I prioritize the passion and the feeling and the love for creativity first, as opposed to trying to prioritize growth first.
Right. No, exactly. Because then a question that I had is that do you think where is like the stop for you then? Where's like where do the past like diverge for you for when it's like I'm doing this for the algorithm and I'm just doing this for me. Like, where do the paths really like diverge? If you get my question.
Well, I think we've all seen people on social media who sort of make stuff that people want to see. They
Yeah,
make stuff that like is to go viral. They make stuff with the intention of making like just making slop, I guess. On like, oh, I feel like I have to post this reel.
yeah,
I feel like I have to do this to promote the music. I feel like I have to. And I think if anytime that you feel like you should do something from like a shame or doubt or guilt perspective, like that's probably the switch. Whereas if you're doing something from like a love perspective
yeah.
and you're doing it from a place of passion, that's probably the switch there. And that's just not like that's not just posting on social media. That's like life. Like
That's like
if you do things from a place of love and passion, like you'll find that there's so much more fulfillment, there's so much more positive energy there as opposed to doing things out of insecurity and doubt.
exactly. Do you so going back? What I said earlier is that I really like watched all your like tried to watch all your podcasts and previous ones, and the question that really arises in my head when you were talking like in the latest one of your latest video is that you said that the podcast and like trying to interact with people, you had like a different type of mindset with it, and I found it very interesting, and I find it for myself very dystopian to say that instead of you saying like, "Oh, I'm here networking," you said you was making like more friends and more like trying to connect with people on a genuine basis. And I would like to have, like hear you more about that because what inspires you to do that like in that type of way?
So I remember growing up, I went through a phase of not listening to music and I went through a phase of only listening to podcasts. So I would just listen to like How I Built This or the Colin and Samir show or Matt Diavella's Ground Up show. Like all of these shows that were focused on people telling their stories of like how they built their businesses, how they became billionaires, how they went from one place to another.
Yeah.
And so as I was trying to find a way to drop out of university, I was like, well, if I've seen all these other people do these talk shows where they just talk to people, then why can't I do that? Why can't I just replicate that same model with people that have inspired me? And so when I first went at it, like I wasn't trying to build the next Joe Rogan podcast. I wasn't trying to make the videos perform super well. I was genuinely interested in a lot of the people that I was interviewing and thought that maybe I can just learn from listening to their stories. Now, there's a couple episodes you could probably feel energy there where I like didn't really care that much about the person, and I just had them on because I was like, I need somebody to be on this show, right? And that's okay. But the ones that I really cared about, a lot of those people actually ended up becoming good friends because we resonated. We had like similarities in the way that we thought, in the way that we did things,
Mm-hmm.
and I never thought about it as a thing of like I didn't think of this big grandmaster plan of like, oh, I'm going to become friends with this person and then they're going to hire me to do this and blah blah blah. Like I didn't. I just was like, what's my next step?
Right.
I've never done anything super interesting creatively before. I'm not somebody who has like super rich parents that can just connect, or like super well connected parents who can just connect me with somebody in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like, how do I find a way to just connect with the right people? And it worked. I mean, I've got people that I did podcast episodes with, like Nick, he's at Young Chickenpox on Instagram. We're going to Japan for 40 days together.
What?
Like, we're
Really?
literally in less than a month. I'm flying out and meeting him there, and we're going to live in Japan for a whole month together.
Just because,
Like,
and there was like the starting point was the podcast.
and the starting point was the podcast, you know,
Wow.
and we found each other because we both were in a similar place, a similar space. We were both interested in similar people, and you know, he hit me up to do the episode. I said yes, and like, there's a reason. Sometimes you just need to find a reason to bring together people who are similar. And for me,
Right.
that's what the podcast was. It was just an opportunity for me to find like-minded people. And some of the
Right.
people, I did a podcast episode with them, and I never spoke to them again. And you know, that's fine. But
Mm-hmm.
like I said, there's a few people that I just ended up becoming really good friends with that I never thought would happen.
Yeah.
I never thought it would go this far, but it did, and I'm super grateful for it. And I think that anybody who's in a position like yourself, where they're trying to build something, trying to find a way forwards, like what you're doing right now is amazing. Just figuring out an excuse to connect with
Yeah.
interesting people, like that's all I was doing too. So I
Yeah.
respect it, and
Thank
and
you,
it'll
man.
work. It'll work for you if you continue to do this, and you did like another 30 episodes. You probably find other friends, other people that you can get along with that
Right.
have a similar mindset to you.
Right.
So keep doing it.
Thank you, man. Um, Going back to like I've watched your first video on like on your channel, and one interesting thing you said, and that I think resonates with like a lot of people, is that you were consuming too much media, and that's why you was like, I have to get started. I just have to
Mm-hmm.
do something. And then the question, like, gets up is like, I'm sure you got like a lot through DMs or like comments, like how to get started, what software do you use, and I think all those questions can be easily answered by just watching your videos or even going through the Insta. But what I'm really curious about is what happened, what impacted in your mind when it was like, I have to. What was the mind shift? Because I think a lot of people do have the power to do something, and they have it in within themselves to do something, but there's always something withholding them, which is maybe it's doubt or fear or stress. And I know people who are successful have the same feelings too, but something shifts. And I think uh when that shift happens, that's when the trajectory like also happens, and then it's like go time. So I'm really wondering like what moment that was for you.
So as a kid, I would always make fun videos. Like even for school, I remember one time that we had these like challenges that you had to do every so often, and you'd each like level of challenge for these homeworks would get you a certain number of stars. And there was one like everybody else was just doing all the like make a poster, make this, make that, and one of them was like make a video surrounding something to do with like this bottle, and it was like for English class. And nobody else did a video. I was the only person in the class where I was like, I'm doing a video. Like, and so even from like 13, 14 years old, like I was trying to do stuff that was creative and interesting. And it kind of went away when I got pushed by parents and and school to go to university, and I don't blame them for that,
No.
but that energy sort of diminished because they were kind of selling me the idea that I wanted to become a scientist, a doctor, a dentist, something along those lines. And I think that all the signs were there from my childhood that I was destined to go down the creative path, like
Right.
making music videos, making animations with the DS. Like who uses the 3DS to make stop motion animations? You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yo, that's
so those signs were
incredible.
always there, and
Yeah.
then I think the thing, those two times where it kind of clicked for me. One was where I was in sixth form, and I just decided, right, I want to start making TikToks because, like, I think, like I mentioned it, like I felt like I'd been consuming far too many things. I'd seen so many Instagram videos, YouTube videos, podcasts, and I was like, if anybody else can do these things, if anybody else can hit upload, if anybody else can interview people, like, why can't I do that? And that's
Right.
like a mentality that I've kept throughout everything.
Like, why can't
You
I?
know, why can't I do it? And really,
Right.
there's no reason. There's
There's no
no
reason.
reason that I can't do anything. And there's
Exactly.
no reason like anybody can't do anything. It's just in your mind. It's just
Hmm.
in your head. Like Black and Tan for me was the first music video that I ever creative directed. I didn't even know what creative direction really was
That was your first
before
one.
I did that music video.
That was your first one,
That was the first one I'd
bro.
creative directed. Yeah.
It was a bang, man.
Thank you. But like, if I'd limited myself before going into that and thought, oh, I'm just a 3D guy, like I'm just gonna do the 3D,
Right.
then the video wouldn't have turned out as good. Like it wouldn't have had all the sauce that made it so good. So
Right.
you have to have this sort of delusional thinking of like I can do anything. Like I was at a concert yesterday. I saw the lead singer of this band up on stage, and I'm like, I could do that. Like I want to give me a microphone right now. I'm gonna go and do that. Like that's how I felt. So I've always sort of had that energy to me. But when I started putting it down was one in sixth form when I started making TikToks and just some of them were golden, but some of them were really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then the time where it really clicked was having the dread and having the the option of either dropping out or staying in university. Like knowing that I had to figure something out, otherwise I had to go back and do like 4 years of university.
Yeah.
That for me was a big enough stimulus to kick me into gear and to make me think, right, hold on a second. If I don't get my shit together, if I don't start making stuff and figuring out a plan,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna have to go back there and do that. So I'm a big believer that you should always have that thing hanging over you.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're working a 9 to 5, don't just quit the 9 to 5 and then become unemployed and then try doing your thing.
Yeah.
You should keep the 9 to 5 there as like a security and as a reminder of like what you are going to, what you have to do if you don't make it work. So that was the switch for me that made me think, right, I need to take this really seriously. And sometimes worse scenarios can end up with better outcomes. For example, let's say two people are in a relationship, but it's they're both comfortable. They're kind of falling out of love with each other,
Yeah.
but they're not cheating on each other. They're not abusing each other. They're just sort of unhappy together. A lot of times those people will stay together because it's so easy for them. They can live their own separate lives. Like they don't want to cause a big argument. They just can exist together. But if that couple were like abusing each other, massively arguing all the time, and like had a much worse dynamic between the two of them,
Mm-hmm.
then that would force them to separate from one another and go and find a partner that's more suited for them. So sometimes like a worse situation, a worse scenario can end up with a better outcome. So you have to do that sometimes artificially. You have to like put that pressure on yourself and give yourself that option of like, okay, this something really bad is going to happen if I don't do this. Like for me, I have to go back to university if I don't make it work, and that was the thing that kicked me into gear.
So do you think like the pain or like even the thought of going back was necessary for your success?
Yeah, 100%. Because, dude,
Yeah.
when I moved back home, my mom made a joke of being like, she thought I was still gone. Like she never saw me. I was always in my room and I was always on my computer because I knew that if I didn't make this work, if I didn't find a way to drop out of university,
Right.
I would have to go back and be miserable and do lab reports. Like I never wanted to do another lab report in my life again. You know, you can see how passionate I am about it now. I remember doing one and I was like, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
So you need to have those stakes. You need to have that incentive.
Well, talking about university questions, I have some I have some really like focused good questions for you right now, which I think is so deep and important. Starting off, how do you think the mitochondria generate energy for the cell, and why are they called the powerhouses of the cell? Like genuinely, bro. Like genuinely.
I'll be honest. Do I look like a biologist?
You want me to be honest?
No. Yeah, I mean, I went to university to study biology, but
Right.
I'll be honest, I didn't learn anything there. I was only there for 3 months.
It was like there just for quick and outs. Do you still
Yeah.
do you still talk to people who like maybe were like close to you and around that time?
I didn't. I only made one really good friend at university called George. Shout out to George, man. And he actually helped me come up with the name for my podcast, which was The Bit Between. So I've got a lot of love for George. He was also somebody that was like very supportive of me trying to do my own thing. But we don't talk that often. He's a little bit difficult to get a hold of. But I have a lot of love for him. But the rest of the people, they just kind of weren't my people. I think now that I've progressed on, I've found more of my people. I found people who have that same creative mind and have that energy and passion to like make stuff and go out there and make something of yourself.
Right.
But a lot of people, they're just sort of happy with good enough. They're happy with a a more normal life,
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's
That's not for
fine if
you.
it works for you. But I'm cursed. Like it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Like it's a blessing because it means that I have this fire and this drive to go out there and hopefully change the world. But
Yeah.
it's a curse because I have this like desire for more. I have this
That
desire to
exactly.
help people, to change the landscape, to inspire people, to make really good work. And if I don't do something with that, it'll probably just eat me alive. So
Exactly.
it's a blessing
Exactly.
and a curse.
I always say like to people when uh it's not that I really want to like sometimes do editing or like make videos or like do anything of that. It's just that I need to. Because
Yeah,
if I don't, it's like it will eat me up every day, and I can't like bear the thought of like me waking up at like 35 or something and be like still, oh shit, I had this idea. Because it's just gonna hurt me. It's gonna
dude.
hurt me in the process.
One thing that I'm a big fan of visualization,
Right.
and I'm a big fan of like positive visualization. So I'll do a visualization exercise every now and again of like thinking very deeply about the person I'm going to become, how I look, how much money I have in the bank, what I spend my time doing, who I surround myself with, the cars that I own, the places that I've been. Like I visualize myself a lot. But another good practice to do is like negative visualization. So
Mm-hmm.
thinking to yourself like, if I fail or if I don't act on this, like where will I be too? And there's been a couple times where I've closed my eyes and I've just thought to myself like, damn, if I don't do this thing, if I and I'm gonna be honest, the number one place that it happens is like if I'm out in public and I see like a girl that I think is really pretty and I'm like I want to go talk to her. Like I've had so many instances where I've wanted to go and say something or just start a conversation and I haven't, and that feeling of like, oh, I didn't do it, like I couldn't make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling, like in the moment, I'll think again and I'll visualize myself of like, right, if I don't go start this conversation with this randomer or whatever it might be, if I don't do this thing, I'm gonna feel the guilt, the shame, the disappointment in myself.
Right.
So that again is a really good motivator to understand, right? Not only what can life look like if I succeed, what does life look like if I fail?
Damn.
And getting really in tune with that and understanding like it's a reality. Like I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate to be able to make a living, and I don't have to have like a normal job, like a a real job, as most stupid people would say.
Real,
Like
yeah.
I can just I get to wake up, go on my computer, and move some pixels around and make money from it. And but sometimes like I do need to have a reality check and think like, hold on a second, if all of this falls apart, I've got nothing. If all of this falls apart, like I have to go searching for a job, and you have to stay in tune with that. You have to understand what you're blessed with and the repercussions if things don't work out, and if you don't do what's necessary in order to make things happen.
Wow. Um, Talking about like money. Before I say that, what do you think is like the biggest like important aspect of like um the the man that you want to be? Like, what is his like important, like the most important aspect of this person that you think is so like, yeah, this is what this is what makes him, this is what makes me me, and this is what I really want to be. Like this aspect, I'm really trying to get that. I'm I'm curious what it is.
Of the
Like,
person that I want to be in the future.
yeah.
It's a really good question. Let me think.
Take your time.
I wouldn't say there's one thing. I wouldn't say there's one characteristic that I'm looking for, but I think I just want to fulfill my potential. I just want to know. I want to be able to be like 90 years old and think to myself, do you know what? I did this shit, man. Like I went out there and everything I wanted to do, I went and got for myself. Every place I wanted to go, every art form I wanted to experiment with, everything that I wanted to experience, like I did it. I
Mm-hmm.
had the confidence to be able to believe in myself and execute time and time again. Like that really is the long term vision. I don't think you should live a life where you try and avoid regret, because then I think you constantly like doubt your every move. But that's basically the vision. I want to become super confident in myself, super strong and create and well rounded in all the different creative mediums. I want to try everything. I want to have fun, and I want to be somebody that I would respect. I want to be the guy that 16-year-old me would have looked up to. That's what it is. Virgil says everything he said everything he did was for his 17-year-old self, and that's the same thing I believe in. Like I'm trying to be the man that 16-year-old me would have looked up to and been like, yeah, I want to be just like him. That's what I do this for.
All right. That's beautiful, man. Thank you for saying that. Um, well, I was a little bit gone, but one of the things that you also like talked about is in the like your latest video, which I found very interesting, was the value beyond money, because you said that some things like with, for example, the podcast is that like you're going to Japan with this man that you've actually, if you didn't do the podcast, you've never met him, which is crazy, by the way. And I want to know, like, are there more like connections that or things that you did that gave you more value than any money would give?
Wait, can you just rephrase the question?
What is an example of like a connection that brought you like more value than any financial gain could?
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the best situation. Yeah.
I've got quite a few. And it's
Tell him.
difficult. It's difficult to put a weight, to put a value on a friendship or a relationship.
Yeah.
But I've got a few friends. I've got Diego Reduciano. I've got Sam Reno. I've got Nick Young Chicken Box. I've got Hunter. I've got Khalid, the guy I'm going to see in Tekons in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And when you connect with these people who inspire you,
Yeah.
like you can't put a price on that, because they can help like pave the way for you. They can help you understand what to do to move forwards, and that's worth more than any amount of money, because constantly being able to have people that you can talk to about the way that you're feeling and that relate with you because they've either been in the same situation as you or are in the same situation as you, like that's just priceless. And some of those people have also gone on to get me projects and get me work that again has just strengthened my portfolio or made me more money or changed my life. You know, those 5 people that I've said, along with plenty of other people, like have changed my life positively for the better. And
Right.
there's no amount of money you could give me to change that. I don't know. I would
That's
rather
nice.
no,
That's
I'd
not
rather
nice.
be exactly where I am today
Right.
with all the online friends that I've made. Because they're not just friends. Like sometimes they're mentors. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
they guide you. Sometimes they show you how to do things. And sometimes they'll go around. Sometimes they'll come to me for advice. And
Right.
you need people like that. You need people who can be honest. Dude, this is something that annoys me so much.
Mm.
Like, me and my friends are very honest.
Yeah.
I if something sucks, if
Yeah.
something's terrible, like if
Yeah.
I do a video and it's terrible, like I would want one of my close friends to like call me up and be like, "Yo, Sab,
This
that
ain't
wasn't it, bro.
it.
That wasn't it, bro.
That's it.
Like let's talk about how to improve. Let's talk how to move forwards." But so many people are caught up in like, "Oh, I don't want to hurt that person's feelings."
Right.
But if you do that, that's how you end up with where Ye is today. You know,
That's yeah.
he's somebody who is very strong-willed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know him, but
No.
what it feels like to me is that he's so strong-willed and he's pushed away anybody who sort of challenges him to the point where now he's surrounded by yes men and
Mm-hmm.
is in artistically the worst period of his life.
True.
So you need people who can pull you up and be like, no, that's not good. Like this is
No.
how you need to improve it. Because without that, like you're just lost, dude. You're lost. You
No.
need people to give you constructive criticism and to help you. Because bro, if all you hear all the time is yo, that's so fire, that's so fire, that's so, you're gonna just become mega egotistical and
Right.
think that everything that you do ever is amazing. And
Right.
I don't care who you are, sometimes you miss. Sometimes
Yeah.
you don't score the penalty, you know? Like that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to have that in check. And there's I think that it's super important just on a friendship level to be able to hold your homies accountable. Because when I see friends that don't tell the truth and aren't honest with each other, I don't think they're friends. Like that's just people that you'd know that you like to lie to.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Like
Yeah.
you have to. If you aren't honest with me, if you're not able to be honest with me, then I won't consider you a friend. I
No.
consider you just somebody that I know.
That makes me think like on one of your like Insta stories, um you had you said like bad is better than nice.
Yeah.
Can you go into that? Because
Yeah.
I was
Oh, dude.
bro.
All right.
Cause
You're setting me off now. You're setting me off now. So if somebody ever meets me and then goes on to describe me to somebody else, and they're like, "Oh yeah, he was nice," like I failed. I failed because nice is the most nothing word ever. It's like, what did you think of that T-shirt he was wearing? It was nice. Is that it? Like, it was just nice. There's nothing about it that stood out to you. There's nothing that was like, oh yeah, I loved this aspect of it, or I hated this aspect of it. Like, we need to stop trying to be so safe and start like striving to make people feel something. I remember UFC fighter Israel Adesanya when he went up to light heavyweight to go challenge for the belt. After he lost the fight, but he said, dare to be great," which is have the courage to go above and beyond and like be great. And you might fail, you might disappoint people, you might end up with making something that isn't good, you might fall flat on your face, but you do it as in a way to move forwards and be great. So don't just strive for good, don't just strive for nice, and don't when you talk about something else, don't ever call it nice. Try and think critically about, okay, what is there anything here?
Mhm.
Is there anything interesting here that is different, that is interesting, that inspires me? Think beyond just nice, and do the same thing when you are working on your own stuff. Like, don't make something that's just nice. Like, make something that makes people feel. Make something. I would rather have half the world love me and the other half of the world despise me. Like, hate my guts. Like in my Instagram DM saying, "You suck, like I wish you never born." Like, I'd rather have that than have everybody just think like, "Oh yeah, he's cool." Because if everybody just thinks what you're doing is cool, then you know, you just you ain't doing anything, bro.
Yeah.
You ain't doing anything that matters, in my opinion.
That makes me think about like I saw a video of like it's like a guy in a cowboy hat. It's like Craig Creek or school and everything. And he was talking about what being a man is, right? And he said in the video like is you can do good, you can do good, and you can do like you can do good bad. You can do really bad stuff. But you can also do like nothing. And that's like the zero. Like in thinking about of like holding the door open for someone and then saying like, oh yeah, I'm such a good guy or everything, or saying like, oh, but I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't smoke, I don't do that. Then you're just a big zero because you don't do anything. You just you're just trying to like play mid level, trying to stay out of the way, not make anyone mad or like make anyone feel that good. Just trying to be okay.
A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything.
Right.
I didn't come up with that. I wish I did. I don't know where I heard it, but
I hear that. I hear
that's
that.
the
I hear
quote,
that.
bro.
I hear that.
That's
That's
the
for
quote.
real. That's for real. Do you can is there also like one time where that mentality where like bad is better than nice showed up in your work where like maybe like a project where you was like, okay, this is okay, I guess, but I gotta go harder.
This is okay, I guess, but harder. I think there's always points in every project. And don't get me wrong, like I do work outside of what I post on Instagram that sometimes is just okay, and it frustrates me because it's like, but everybody has a hustle to be able to pay the bills. Everybody has something else that they're doing outside of the stuff that they're sharing with everybody that they do to, you know, make ends meet. But the stuff that you do in order to push boundaries, like don't go above and beyond for it. Like I remember on Black and Tan, we did there's a shot right in the middle, which was we described them as the money shot, right? And that was
Right.
the Mercedes GLE or GLS make a bounce where the Mercedes comes in and everything.
Yeah, that was
And
cool. That's so
I,
cool.
I I was procrastinating that shot for a while because I just didn't know how to make it special because that was the part that was everybody's gonna post and I was like, okay, this is the part that needs to be insane.
Hmm.
And I remember I was like, right, we had a few days left until the video needed to be in, and I was like, right, I'm gonna lock in. I did a full day of work, and then it was like 8 9 p.m. and I was like, right, now I'm gonna start working on it. I did an all nighter, like dialing in like the specific bounce of the Mercedes and figuring out like how to do the transition and everything. I was like, okay, this is fire, this is fire, this is fire. And then Lozo, the director that I was working with, um, he woke up and he was like, yo, let's see what you've made. And he saw it and he was like, that's fire, bro, that's fire. But can you just make this change here? Can you make this change here? And bro, when I tell you, I was pissed. I was so mad because I was like, bro, I've really just spent the last 12 hours locked in at my PC. And now, after sleeping, you want to come over here and tell me change the background to be not this, make the lighting different. But I realized that, like, the video wasn't good enough yet. Like, the scene, the shot wasn't good enough yet. The scene needed work to be better.
Yeah.
And so, moments like that, like, you have to put your ego and your pride to one side and think to yourself, right, how do we do what's best for the video? How do we do what's best for the art?
Right.
And that's something that me and Loza, for example, we've gotten really good at together. Like we'll both put our egos aside and think, right, forget whose idea it was, forget who said this, who said that. What's going to make the video better? What's going to make this piece of art that we're working on better? And how do we do that?
Hmm.
So try, if you're at a point where even if you're attached to an idea,
Yeah.
even if you've spent a lot of time on it, if it needs more work and you can feel that, or if you go to somebody that you respect and they say like, let's make some changes and let's make it even better, like don't get offended by that.
Mm.
Find the space to actually like let yourself grow and do it for the sake of the work. Don't let your ego get in the way of that.
How did you like learn to get like? How did you learn to handle criticism very well and see it as feedback?
So I've always been somebody who's good at handling constructive criticism because even though I'm very involved and I like this is my life and I do live this creativity stuff, like I'm really good at being able to separate like what I've done, what I've made, or what I'm working on from me as a person and as an individual. And that's the most important thing. Like if somebody is trying to critique my stuff, like I can't take that as a personal attack because it's not. It's literally just it's a comment on what I've made or something that I've done. It's not, it doesn't affect me as a person. Like what your opinion is on something that I've made doesn't affect me as a human being. It's just a subjective opinion on something that I've happened to have had a part in. So I don't let that affect me. And again, I'm always trying to improve. Like I'm very systematic. I always try and optimize things. So if it's for the sake of the video, if it's for the sake of the project, for the art, for the song, whatever it's going to be, like I hold that improvement as more important than my ego.
Right.
So even if it's my idea, like I'd find a way to separate and think, right, that's just an idea that I happen to suggest. That's
Mm-hmm.
if you want to critique that, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So like you really trying to make a separation between
yeah,
the creative you and like just you as like a person.
100%,
So like
and you have to do that. Like even on the MVP video, I posted a screenshot on my story of like how many notes we had on that video, and there was loads. Like I was going in, bro. Like I was going in crazily with how many things needed to be changed every single time that we had a new version. And
how many versions?
I don't even know. I think we must have had like 7 or 8 like
Damn, of
cuts,
like the whole
one every,
video,
probably like almost one every day. Yeah,
the
of
whole
like,
damn.
well, just like iterations of the same thing, you know.
All right, 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 right.
But every time there was like loads and loads of notes all over the video, and
Mm-hmm.
if Samuel, the VFX guy that we had on this, if he took that to heart, we would have been screwed, you know, because he would have just taken every note that I made as a personal attack. But it's not like that.
No,
It's just it's a if something's gonna make the art better,
that's okay.
hold on, let me try and rephrase that.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm critiquing some work, I'm critiquing the work, I'm critiquing the art, I'm critiquing the piece. I'm not attacking you as a human being.
Right.
And the sooner that you understand that, and the sooner that you can apply that to yourself, the better off all of your work will be. Because if you take all of any feedback, criticism, comments as personal, like you're screwed, you're finished.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can never improve anything, you can never make something better, because it's always an attack on you as an individual. Even if your art is very personal to you, it's still like separate to you. So you should make that distinction so that you can have that feedback, make that thing better.
Right. So talking about MVP, Black Tan, and like also thinking about the latest, no, like couple times back, you made a video with Drake as well, right? I don't know if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay. Um, how do you think? And I'm especially thinking about MVP and Black Tan, with the use, even Nico B, the latest video I saw that I have that shit on repeat. um, how do you think the music, like music video space, is changing nowadays? I'm really curious on like how you think it's going, or or where it's heading to, because the use of VFX 3D, I see that like a lot more. Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking about editors like Aiden edits. If I'm yeah, Aiden edits. I'm thinking about Regimano, and even in Lyrical Lemonade as well. I see like VFX and 3D being used more heavily. And what do you think? Like, how is that going to progress?
It's a good question. I don't really know. I don't know how the landscape is going to change. What I do know, though, is that there's this notion that the music video is dead.
Mm-hmm.
There's this notion that nobody watches music videos anymore, or they're not important. But I think that the truth couldn't be like that. Couldn't be further from the truth. At least with the few videos that I've worked on for the past like 6 months.
Right.
Every music video that I've worked on has like helped propel the song, helped like it organically go crazy on all platforms. Like I remember when we first posted the Black and Tan snippet.
Mm-hmm.
So the snippet of the song itself had been around for a good few months,
Yeah.
and you know on TikTok people are being. This is why you can't listen to the TikTok comments, man. Like people being like, "Oh, hold the song. We don't even want it anymore. You can keep it." Like people, it'd been rinsed, right? Like
Right.
the snippet had been rinsed for like good 2 or 3 months,
Right.
and then we posted the first like 30 seconds of the video, I guess, on
Right.
Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, viral on every single platform.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody was like, "Holy shit, this is insane!" And like that was just the intro of the video. Like that wasn't
Right.
even the crazy part. And that I'm a big believer. Again, I don't have any way to prove this, but if that video didn't exist and if the
No.
song just dropped, I believe that song would be nowhere near as popular because in order for a song to perform nowadays, you need different elements in order to make it work. There's a big focus on artists making TikToks and doing short form content,
Hmm.
but I like how we've been doing things, which is make an insane music video that's like crazy crazy good and use that as the short form content. Like again, we're not trying to we're not making things algorithm first. We're making things that are fire. We're making things that are full of like passion and love, and just like only zoning on how do we make this music video the best as it possibly can
Right.
be. And then we're going ahead afterwards and being like, okay, how do we convert this into being something that can be digested by the algorithm and by social media?
Yeah.
So I personally think that that's the way that forwards that people should be doing.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that at the same time, there's going to be a big investment in short form content around music. Again, I hate that word content, but I have to use it in this term.
Yeah.
I have to use it in this context. Sorry,
Yeah.
because I think there's going to be like a really big amount of people putting like good budgets into short form clips to post on social media in order to promote the music, as opposed to just making a music video. Like, we might see mini music videos. We might see like 30-second, 20-second snippets as music videos that only exist in that 20 seconds.
Like
Like,
the only like the music is just 20 seconds. You mean like that
no, not the
or?
music itself, but like people investing in the visuals of a TikTok snippet or an Instagram reel just for that reel, as opposed to like making a full music video out of it. So we might end up in a landscape where there's like the music video for the song might not exist anymore, or the long format 2.5 minute, 3 minute long music video. Instead of doing that, people will just sort of prioritize doing 4 or 5 20-second mini music videos or mini snippets
Mhm.
of music videos that are like produced to a high, like a same high level like a music video are. That's something that
Right.
I think will happen more often,
Right.
but that's just like a prediction.
I hope that doesn't happen.
Why not?
Because I don't know. I think nowadays with like surfer content like being up on the rise, I know you're supposed to adapt and everything, but seeing videos like what I've seen like latest was Rema and the video Akamano. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I thought it was so crazy because for me like I'm a really big like music video lover, and I always like when I see a music video and it matches the song, it's like it brings up levels to it that I can't describe. It's like the first time that I heard MVP, I was like, oh, this is a good song, whatever. But then I saw like the basketball vibes and like the Super Bunda intro and everything. I was like, yo, this is a whole different
And it
aesthetic
makes it
and
into an
everything.
experience, doesn't it? Like
It
like
makes
we
a
we will
whole
have
different
music
thing.
videos that we remember from our childhood,
Yeah,
that when you think of the song, you can't not think of the music video. And like
exactly.
like you think about Hotline Bling, like everybody thinks
Exact.
of that weird
You're right,
room that he
right.
was in and the dancing and everything like that. You think
Mm-hmm.
of even ones like Still Dre. You think of the bouncing cars. You
Mm-hmm.
you have like all of these music videos in your head that just like are synonymous with the song and help with the world building. So I
Yeah,
I don't I don't want that to go away. I think it's really important for
right.
musicians. It's important for the visual artists. It's important for everybody because it
Mm-hmm.
it helps the song be so much more than just a song. Like that's why I have so much respect for people like Kanye, people like Donald Glover, people like
Mm-hmm.
Tyler the Creator, because they do what they can to
Definitely.
like make the music video not just a music video.
It's a
They
whole
make a
experience.
whole story, a whole experience around it,
Right.
and that's what it should be. It shouldn't just be a music video. It should be everything.
Right. That's why I always like sometimes get disappointed when like Tyler recently like I think dropped the song was correct error or something, and it was like with Maxo. It was a good video. It was a good video, but it was just them with like a white plain backdrop and like quick cuts, and that was it. And it helped. It was a nice song, but I think with music videos, it's like when you have good concepts, like genuinely good concepts, and you match that to the song, it just, I don't know, it brings it to a different level that I think what you just like said, when people watch it, it's like it becomes memorable with like the song, and it just stays with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that's like I can see that happening because I saw somebody on Twitter posting like some Fruitica Metro art style stuff. Like there's this one of this DJ like this and like the splatters and everything,
Mhm.
and somebody retweeted being like, I can't see the images like this without thinking of those two British guys from the UK rapping.
Right.
Like, and that's amazing. That's
That
good that
is
we've
actually it.
found a way to like cement Toller and Lancey's music together with the art style to the point where now
For
it's like,
real.
people see them together and have tied them together in their minds. Like
Cause
that's
yeah,
what it's about.
cause I genuinely like right now, like the whole style that you guys like made is it's just like so distinctive or something. It's like I see it as something new. Like definitely like with the music video. I think it has maybe has done before somewhere somehow, but the way I see it now is like something completely new for me. And I hope you guys keep that up, man.
Thank you, man. I think my philosophy on it is at the end of the day, like Fruitica Metro as an art style or any art style has probably already been done,
Yeah.
and it's okay. And I'm a big believer that it's okay to steal as
Mm-hmm.
long as you find a way to remix it and find a way to like make it your own
Right.
and find a way to make it better than the
Mm-hmm.
original. Like we stole the whole Fruitica Metro art style from the 2000s. Like
Yeah.
we ripped that. We stole the backdrops and the I don't know what they're called, like the music visualizer bars going up and down, and like some
Mm-hmm.
of the framing from the That Girl Pharrell video. We stole the idea of integrating 3D with a music video in like a modern way
Mm-hmm.
from this Joey, I think it's Foglia Telly music video. Like we stole a bunch of different elements from everywhere, but then put it all together in a new way.
Right.
And that's what's important. Like taking 3 or 4 ideas and mashing them together, like that's what creates something new. And
Mm-hmm.
bro, if somebody made a video that was inspired by Black and Tan tomorrow, like I would be very happy. Like I would be showing love to that because
Right.
as long as they didn't just copy it, as long as they actually went above and beyond and like added something else to it, like changed the color palette, did it with country music, and just remixed it to a level where it's
Mm-hmm.
far away enough to be its own thing,
Mm-hmm.
that would be awesome. So I'm a big believer that like you can steal any of my ideas as long as you do it better than me. If you don't do it better than me, then like,
Right. Now what are you
bro,
doing? Now what are you
yeah,
doing?
because I've already done it. Like I have. Here's the framework, dude. Like
Exactly.
here's the example. You can't make it worse than the reference. You know what I mean? Like you have to make it better than the reference. So
Real,
go
real.
ahead, steal any of my ideas, but just make sure you do it better than me.
Mm-hmm. Nah, that's beautiful, man. Thank you for that. Um, Going a bit back in time, you started like I've seen like one of your first posts, and you have to like tell me if you like if this rings a bell. Nimstar.
Yes. Damn.
So how did you feel when that like everything came up, and how did you feel about that, man?
Oh man, Nimstar, bro. That's really good timing actually because he reached out to me recently and we hopped on a call and we had a good catch up and talked about life a lot. So really interesting timing. I remember seeing his music on TikTok. I think I found him before Nike's his biggest song at the time. Oh, well, I think it's like all time his biggest song when it comes to streams.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, had 1 million streams on Spotify. I found him just like posting videos on TikTok, and I just knew I've got this really good intuition to like know when somebody's gonna be hot. Like I just like when I see something and I'm like, yeah, like they're gonna kill it. They're gonna make it.
Yeah.
So I connected with him. We worked on a couple projects together. I did like a couple cover arts for him and a visualizer, and we were just homies for a while. We'd be in Discord together, and then I just saw him go from again being like a random kid in his bedroom making music to going on tour. I think around like America a little bit and performing in New York, and making songs with Rio Vaz and like killing it. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it so many times, like people being able to have that transition of like being a normal, regular ass dude
Yeah.
and then becoming something special within their industry. And again, like I said at the beginning, it's amazing that the internet allows people to have the opportunity to do this. And seeing it with him or with anybody else is amazing. Especially when I thought to myself in the back of my mind, like, yeah, I'm putting my bets on this guy. Like I know
Right,
they're gonna
right.
work. It's a really rewarding experience, man, and it makes me happy. It makes me happy seeing people that I care about and that I resonate with and become friends with, like succeeding. And we spoke again soon. We spoke a bit again recently, and we might work together on something soon.
Ooh,
If something aligns. But yeah, he's a really he's a lovely guy, really nice guy. I've got a lot of love for him.
that's nice, man. That's actually great. Uh, Another word is Vital Studios.
Oh my god, this guy's pulling these out of nowhere, bro.
I'm trying to be a Manobra, man. I'm trying to get
Damn,
like be like be the
bro's going
Nova.
full Nardwar on me.
Yeah, man.
Vital Studios. Yeah, what do you know about Vital Studios?
I know it was like a clothing brand by Diego Flancia, and I saw like a couple studios. Like you did an interview with him when it was still like that was his thing,
Yeah.
and from there, and like I didn't watch the whole interview because I wanted to like also wanted to hear the story more for myself. But what can you tell us about that, man? Like,
So, this is a really interesting story, actually.
right.
Fast backwards all the way to I think maybe some point in 2020. So we're going back now.
Oh, you going
And
back?
I get a DM, a random DM on Instagram from an Instagram account, and it was a clothing brand called Vital Studios. And it was the meta, like the way that people would promote their clothing brands back then would be like, hey, I noticed that you follow like streetwear stuff and I make clothes. We're wondering if you'd like, if I could get your opinion on this. Like this was before any like mass marketing DMs or like that was the thing. That was the thing to do. They'd just DM and be like, yo, you seem like you like streetwear. Look at my clothes and see what you think.
Right.
And nobody had ever DM'd me like that before. So I was like, yeah, let's see what's going on. And I remember seeing like the first hoodie that he made and some of the t-shirts. I was like, this guy's like, this is cool. Like, I like this clothing brand. This is really interesting. I love the purple and the aesthetic and everything. And then I got invited to the Discord server, and that's where I met Diego Reduciano. And again, like I placed my bets on him. Like I just knew there's something about him
Mm.
at that point in time where the way that he would talk about design, the way that he was, same age as me and making clothes and shipping them around the world, and the mindset that he had. And okay, yeah, sometimes we would just be like, he would sometimes just like hop on the Discord and play Roblox, but like I would use that as an opportunity to like talk to him and ask him questions about what he was working on and whatnot. And
Yeah.
we became friends. Did the interview with him. That's what sort of made us both know that we were kind of aligned. And then, just I've literally seen him go from running Vital Studios and selling clothes to being like, starting Blender. And he was the reason that I started Blender. He
Really?
was the reason that I started Blender. He told me once that he showed me like a few of these 3D videos he was doing. And I was like, hold on, are you getting paid for these videos? He's like, yeah. And then he was like, I just got paid $800 for this video. And I was like,
Yeah.
you just got paid $800 to make a video on your computer? They
Yeah.
paid you for that? And it was mind blowing at the time because the idea of being a freelancer or anything like that had never crossed my mind back in like 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I was like, damn, like I need to get a piece of this. So that's when I downloaded Blender, got a PC and did the donut, and things went from there. But yeah, he again, I placed my bets on him, and I thought to myself, you know what? I know this guy's going to go far. Let me see how I can help him, how I can be involved. And he's changed my life for the better. He's connected me with a lot of good people. He's helped me be on the Uzi video, be in a Drake video. So it's crazy, dude. It's crazy how a random DM from a clothing brand
Yes,
can end up
involved
with,
that.
you know, I even went to stay at his house in LA for a few days back in 2022 as well. When I'm in Japan, I'm going to go. He's doing a pop up for his new clothing brand, Awaken. You guys should definitely check that out.
Awaken.
Like
Shout out
he's
Awaken.
yeah, bro. What do you know about Awaken? In a few years' time, we'll do another one, and yeah, Awaken will have taken over the world by then.
Bet.
Yeah,
Um, the last one I got is the bucket list.
the bucket list.
The bucket list. Did you actually? Because like in your first video, you said you had a bucket list, and there were some things that you really wanted to achieve on that thing, and I want to know if you did, or are there still maybe more things in your head that you added to it?
Yeah, I think at the time I went through a phase of thinking to myself like, oh, what are like all the things that I really want to do, and like when I think I might have been what 17, 18 at the time when I made that video. So when you're that age, like you don't actually know what you want.
No.
So I actually don't remember what was on the bucket list. I have no idea what was on the bucket list. I could probably find it somewhere on Notion or something. But I think what's more important to me is that I did the podcast. I've got what I wanted from that. I've learned how to do 3D, and I've got what I've wanted from that. I'm getting better at creative direction, and I'm eventually going to shoot my own music video at some point next year, probably.
Word.
I want to learn how to make music. I want to learn how to do everything. Like I just want to be the best that I can possibly be at all the different creative mediums. So for me moving forwards, my bucket list is just getting really good at doing anything creative, making movies, making songs, making music videos, all of it. And also traveling. Like Japan's been on the bucket list, and literally about to pull up to Japan in like 20 days time.
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
I don't know. I was talking to my friend about this the other day, that I'm somebody that once I set my mind to something, like it happens. It just happens eventually. I have a saying, it's only a matter of time. And whenever anything that I have in my head and I know I've not got it right now, I just think to myself, okay, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. And it keeps on happening. Like when I first wanted to move out from my mom's house, I wanted to move out. And I was like, okay, hold on. It's only a matter of time. And then I did. When I wanted to buy a car for myself, I was like, okay, let me just wait. Just wait a little bit longer, and it's going to happen. And it happened. When I wanted to go to America and go travel, it happened. Wanted to find a way to drop out of university, it happened. Wanted to work with Loza on something, it happened. Like everything that I do, it's only a matter of time until like it happens. And I think that's just because I don't give up, bro. Like if you don't give up, you have to succeed. Like think about it. If you set your mind to something, if you set a goal and you never give up, like you refuse to give up, how can you fail? How can you not hit that goal? Because you just won't stop until you hit the goal. So it's inevitable. It's only a matter of time until it happens. Like I don't know, is it here? No. I've got one second. I've got a Hot Wheels car. I got it the other day. Yeah. This right here. Let me say it live. This is a Honda NSX. Right? Japanese icon of a car. It's only a matter of time until I have one of these cars. It's only a matter of time.
Hey, like, brother.
Like this car is probably like 70 to 100,000 pounds for one in good condition. And by the time I want to buy one, it might have been more. But like I know it's like a fact in my mind. Yeah. In the same way that everything else I've ever wanted to do is. Like I will own one of these cars one day. Right. And I'll look outside and it'll be there in my drive and I'll be like, it was only a matter of time. Right. So you have to have that level of delusional self-belief. Otherwise, like somebody like me is going to outcompete you. Like think about it like this. Imagine you wanted to get into 3D or music videos and I was your competition. Yeah. Like you'd be thinking to yourself, fuck, like this guy like thinks he's going to win. This guy knows he's going to win. This guy has like this crazy mentality. Yeah. So you need to think about that for yourself. Like whatever art form, any medium that you want to go into, like make your mind so indestructible that you have to win. You have to succeed and nobody else can knock you off that pedestal.
And is that like just because you just like, is it like a fake it till you make it type of thing in the beginning, or is it like more like I'm just that guy, and you just believe in, or do you have also have like a like a religion backbone?
No, so to begin with, it's very much a fake it till you make it mentality. Like I don't know what happened to him over the last few years, but there's a guy called Sneeko, and I used to watch a
Yeah,
few of his videos.
yeah,
Yeah, I used to
yeah.
watch a few of his
I did
videos.
as well. I did as well. I did
Yeah,
as
back in
well.
the day,
Back in the
and he
day.
made. I don't know what the hell he's doing now, but
Yeah.
you know, back in the day, he made some bangers, and he made this one video called "Fake It
Fake
Till
it
You
till you
Make
make
It,"
it. I saw that video. Yeah, I saw that video.
and and he said like again, it's gonna sound so stupid, but the whole concept of the video is about faking it till you make it. And he says
Mm-hmm.
Batman doesn't worry about where his hands are when he talks to a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and like that one line just stuck in my head of like, hold on a second, I'm fucking Batman. Like
Mm.
I don't need to worry about where my hands are when I'm talking to a girl, or I don't need to worry about anything. Like if you had the belief of Batman, you won't worry about anything.
No,
It sounds so stupid putting it in
no,
the
no. Yeah.
Batman context, but that was it, man. Like you have to imagine that you are that person. That's why visualization is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Take some time to visualize the person you want to become. All of the characteristics that that person has, the way that they spend their time, the people they spend their time with, and then reverse engineer that in a sense of like think that you are that person today. Because if you think to yourself,
Right.
right, the person that I want to be is shredded, he has a six pack, he's got a beautiful wife and kids, he's a family person, he's rich, he has really good creative friends, he does everything that he ever wants to do, no regrets, he's funny, he's if you have all of these beliefs of yourself and you're like, right, that's who I want to be in the future, and then you just transmit yourself to like being that person,
Mm-hmm.
eventually
You become that
you
person.
believing in that, you believing that you are all of those things over a year, 2 years, 10 years, ends up with you becoming that person.
Right. Because it's just inevitable. It will just
Yeah, as long as you
way.
keep, as long as you keep your values, your morals, your
Mm.
attention, your energy aligned with those characteristics that you like about the person that you've created in your head,
Mm.
then you will. It's only a matter of time until you become that person. 100%.
Right. Um. So as we can hear, you come from the UK,
Yeah.
and one of the things that I was really curious about is that do you also get like a lot of like inspiration from your surroundings in the UK? Because I've lived there for over a year. I can't
Okay.
lie. I thought it was a very depressing place to be in. But maybe you have a different perspective like on that, and maybe like you also have like very inspirational
Where
things.
did you live in the UK?
Besden,
Where?
Essex.
Essex. No, I'm not familiar.
Yeah,
With I'm not familiar with the area. So
that's good.
there's there is a little bit of a strange culture in the UK where people don't like change.
Don't get me started, man.
People don't like anything new. People complain all the time without doing anything about it, and like it's a very British thing to
Mm,
just hate things, complain about things, and not not want to rock the boat.
real.
And I don't fit in that, man. Like and that's why, dude. Maybe I'm like autistic or have like some form of social ineptness, but like I find it difficult to talk to people sometimes, man. Like
Hmm.
when people just are there talking about like bullshit, like Love Island. I always bring this up,
That's
Love
what I was
Island, bro.
saying. Like, oh my
I
days,
always bring this up, bro.
why you talking about Love Island? That's what I'm
How are people
saying,
like occupying their
bro.
time with reality
Bro,
TV
that's what
and
I'm
shit? Like,
saying. That's what I was saying. Like, I was genuinely like this. I was like there for a year, and I remember like being in the sixth form class, like in the lounge, and there was like some girls talking, sitting there, and they were talking. They were like talking, chatting, but really like I thought it was like a great conversation. So I'm like, let me hop in. And they talking about a show called Love Island. I was like, what's Love Island? I'm like, yeah, this that guy. Da, 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 da." And I was like, oh, this is a girls thing. And the guys came in too. And I was like, bro, what are you talking about, man? What's this? What is this?
but this is the thing. Like, why are we talking about these strangers
That's what I'm saying, man.
sleeping with each other
That's
on
what
an
I'm saying.
island.
That's what I'm saying. It
Like,
doesn't
do we
make
not have
sense.
anything better to do? Do you not
Oh,
have anything
oh,
better to do with your life?
OMG.
So this is the thing. I find it difficult over here in the UK because a lot of the people that I meet, especially where I live, like I live in Grandma Land, so like I don't live in London yet.
I forget what it is.
Hopefully, when I move to London, it'll be different. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I do find it difficult living over here to find people that I align with. But that's why my online friends come in clutch sometimes. Sometimes, man, like they, I'll usually FaceTime like at least one of them every day, um,
Yeah.
and I get my conversation and my fix from there. So yeah, the UK is a strange place. There's a big resistance to change. There's a resistance to doing something that's different. There's a very strong bias towards the academic pathway. You know, all six forms are rated on how many of their students go to universities. So from
Yeah.
year 7, you are pushed to go to university. That is the goal.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I remember going to my sixth form, and again, I don't have anything against these guys because it's just the way that the system works. But
Yeah. I
I
think it's a
remember the
good
head of sixth
system.
form was saying to me like, I went to go see him maybe a few months into my gap year, and I was telling him like I wanted to get into podcasting, or like I was doing podcasting, I was doing animation, whatnot. He's like, "Oh, yeah, you should go to Leeds University and go do their television and broadcasting degree." And I'm like, "Bro, who the hell watches TV anymore? Who watches television?
That's what I'm saying.
You know?"
Oh my days. That
So
actually makes
so
sense.
there's a big resistance to change. There's a big resistance to anything new, and so I find it difficult over here. But again, you got to have that strong-willed nature in yourself to um, figure out what it is that you care about and go after that. And I'm a big believer in like you are the people that you surround yourself with, right? There's that whole idea of you are the 5 people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
I would rather surround myself with nobody than surround myself with bad company. And I think a lot of people are scared of that. A lot of people are being scared of like having no friends
Mm-hmm.
or not being accepted. But it's you are better off being on your own and having no close friends,
Yeah.
but having your mind locked in and having like your vision, as
Yeah.
opposed to trying to go somewhere with your life and constantly being dragged down by your family, your school, your friends, whoever it is, whatever company that you have. You're better off just doing it on your own and separating from those people. If they drag you down, if they don't inspire you, if they make fun of you, you should separate yourself and you should go out there and find your own people. That's what I had to do as well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you have to find, there are some people that you can bring along that journey with you, but sometimes you have to separate yourself from people that you once really cared about because they're not helping you get to where you need to go. So don't be
Yeah.
afraid to be alone. Don't be afraid to push people away if you know that they're not helping you. And don't be afraid to go out there and meet your people because you will meet them. I remember I used to doubt it so much. I used to like sit in my bed and like just think to myself like, why don't I get along with people in the same way? Like, why am I not accepted at school in the same way that all the other kids are? Like, why don't I have friends in the same way that a lot of other kids do? But I just believed and trusted that I'd find my people, and over time, there's very few people that I really get along with, but the people that I do like, we have amazing relationships, whether that be in person or whether that be online. And those people exist for you, and those people exist for everybody out there. You just have to have the courage to be able to separate yourself from the people that you know are going to hold you back, and take that leap to go and find those people that are going to inspire you and mentor you and take you to the next level.
Exactly. Well, now I had to take that one in. I had to take that one in. um,
Do you think that's the spot that you're in now?
right now, yeah, I'm 18 years old right now, and a lot of people like there's a lot of people like around me that do a lot of different things right now because we just all got off like out of middle school type of level. So a lot of people in my age group are maybe starting a family. The other person is just still in school, and it's really like I'm really trying to do what I really want to do, man. And I'm I'm a firm believer on um because my name is God's will, and I have like a sort of weird thing in myself that whenever I want something and I know I'm going to like do it, it's like I know I will get it. I'll get it. And that's why I've like that's why I'm so it's like so annoyed with myself when I just don't do the things that I'm supposed to do, or like create when I want to create, because I'm just like I'm at school and like I had like this latest conversation with a person, and they say like, oh, what you want to do? And then I see myself lying and saying something like I'm gonna do IT or something, just cause I'm trying to like go in the social roots and everything, and not really go deep into it. And then eventually they ask further like, oh, what are you gonna do in IT? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'll probably do that, but actually I really want to make movies and everything, and da. Go in, and they be like, oh, that's so cool. Are you also going to like to school for that? And I'm like, no, no, because I don't know about you, but I always like have like that kind of dilemma in myself, like in myself, where I'm like, that I don't think school is needed in this game of like in the game of like movies, in the game of like cinematography, in the game of like creative. I don't think school is necessary to make it, because if the internet didn't exist, I was fair enough. But because of the internet and the way things are progressing and the way I can legit just ask AI about an effect and he can tell me step by step on how to do that effect, is I have no excuses. And I'm not about to pay 10K to learn movies, man. Just for connections. I don't think that's needed.
So going back to your first thing of like when you said you lied to people, again, I've got that like old man vibe to me. So like I always
Mm.
give unsolicited advice. So you'll
Mm-hmm.
have to hear me out here.
Yeah, yeah.
But you should be very careful with your words,
Yeah.
because every time you lie to yourself and you say, "Oh yeah, I really want to go into IT," like that's gonna affirm that belief. That's gonna reinforce the chance of it happening more.
Yeah.
If somebody says like, "What do you want to do?" Tell them straight. Like just tell them. And if
Yeah.
they laugh at you and if they giggle and they're like, "What's wrong with this guy?" then so be it.
Yeah.
Like they're just not your type of people, and that's okay.
Exactly.
That's fine. You know, and I'm a big believer that your goals should be so big that that other people laugh. Like if other people aren't
Right.
laughing at your goals, you're not thinking
Right.
big enough.
Right. And I think I had that when I was like younger, and like when I grew up like more and more and more, it was just me putting like lids on it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's not, I can't like let me just like walk the walk.
Nah,
But
bro, forget
sometimes
that.
sometimes I think you just gotta walk and talk. You know what I mean? Talk and talk
You
is like you're not doing anything. But if you
well,
walk and
you
talk,
can't just talk. You can't just talk.
no, no,
But some amount of talk helps you walk. You know,
it
Kanye
does.
says, "Use the arrogance as the steam to power my dreams." You know, like you have to
Right.
have that confidence, that ability to like, you know, have that swag and be like, "Yeah, this is me. This I do this shit, man. Like
Yeah.
this is what I'm about." You
Yeah.
know, when I when I introduced myself to people like last night at the show, like I went up to the lead singer of one of the bands, and I was just like, "Yo, like my name's Sab. I do animation, creative direction. I make music videos. I do everything." Like
Yeah.
I tell him straight up, like I do everything, and then he's like, "Okay, cool," but you can't let yourself or anybody else put you in a box. This is a big thing. This is what I noticed about people like Donald Glover, Tyler the Creator. Like I've
Exactly,
watched
brother.
every Donald Glover interview that there is,
Bro,
and
same. That man is
there's this
insane.
point where he's on one of the shows and they talk about him quitting his acting career to go into rap, right? And they're like, "Oh, so you're quitting to become a rapper?" And he's like, "Oh no, I'm not a rapper. Like I don't want to be a rapper." And they're like, "Okay, so what type of music is this?" And he's like, "Well, there's rap in the music, but like it's just music." And they're like, "Well, what do you mean?" And like they're confused. And I don't blame them, because as humans, we want to be able to categorize things. Like I want to be able to categorize you as like what your name is, where you're from, and what you're going to do in life. Like that's very natural. But that consciously and subconsciously puts that person in a box of like, "Oh, this person only exists here now." And you can't let yourself or anybody else do that to you. You can't let that happen, because then you find yourself believing that. I remember for a long time, like I just thought I was an animator. I just thought I was a 3D guy. But I'm not. Like, I'm so much more than that. Like, in every aspect of life, I'm so much more than that. And it limited me for a while because, like, yeah, like, I'm just going to keep doing this 3D stuff. I'm going to keep doing this 3D stuff. But, like, I'm more than that. I'm more than a 3D guy. I'm so much more than that. And everybody who's, like, into creativity and into this scene, like, we're all more than that. We should allow ourselves to not be limited by these boxes. So every time that you say to somebody like, oh yeah, I want to go into IT, like, or like, I'm going to be an IT technician or whatnot, like, that's going to limit you in their minds. But if you just were like, I want to do everything, I want to make movies, I want to do a podcast, I want to do this, and boom boom boom, I'm like, they'd be confused, and some people would probably think you're insane. But at least in their heads and in your head, you think to yourself, the whole world is my oyster. Like, I can do anything. And
Right.
and the downside of boxing yourself in is really apparent with, again, I've studied this shit. So, like, yay, he for the longest time was a producer and then tried to prove himself as a rapper and told everybody and screamed from the buildings like, I'm a rapper, I'm a rapper, I'm a rapper, I'm a rapper, I'm a rapper. And he cemented himself as a rapper so well that when he decided he wanted to move away from rap and move into fashion, nobody took him seriously. Because everybody was like, who is this rapper who wants to become a designer? You know? And he made it so difficult for himself to sidestep between different mediums because he'd cemented himself in everybody's minds as a rapper. But somebody like Donald Glover has managed to slide effortlessly between the different mediums.
True.
Because when he went into comedy, he never called himself a comedian.
No.
When he went into music, he never called himself a rapper. When he went into making Atlanta, he never called himself a director. Like, don't give yourself these boxes or these names that close you off. Just say that you do all of these things and let that be unlimited, so that
Right.
most importantly, you yourself believe you can do anything that you want to do.
Yeah, I'll take that in, man, because I genuinely think that every time I do say that type of stuff or like have the conversation with my parents or my mom, um, it's just like it's something about not even about them, but it just becomes like to me where I'm like so conscious about like, oh yeah, I just need to keep them happy, so I say this so they can get off my case. But like you said, it's like sometimes you just gotta go for the unlimited. You just gotta go for like the unlimited potential that you're really trying to be. Because I have those big aspirations and everything, and I'm really trying to go. And I see myself having those big aspirations because when I explain my angle, I can't even fathom it sometimes.
And
You
that's
know what I
good.
mean? You know what I mean?
That's
Like
good. Like,
I can't do it. Like sometimes I think like, oh yeah, this is bigger than me, and that's the whole thing. I just want to create something that's even bigger than me.
yeah, and that you should
Yeah.
100%. You should have that as a goal. Your goals should scare you, and they should scare everybody else, and everybody should laugh at you. Because,
Right.
bro, think about me. I actually point this out to myself sometimes. I was 18 years old, never made any money online before, never published anything properly other than like a few TikToks, and I came home from 3 months of university and said to everybody, I want to drop out and make YouTube videos. Everybody looked at me like I was insane.
Right.
And quite rightly, because like I didn't have any proof. I was like, yeah, I want to drop out and make music videos and find a way to make a living online and just like travel and do my
What were,
thing.
like your parents' reaction when you said that?
Dude. My family, man. I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate, but you know, my extended family literally thought that I was insane. They thought like, what has happened at university? Like, what drugs have you been taking?
Yeah.
Right? Because this is not happening.
Yeah.
But my mom specifically, like, she believed in me, and she was like, quite a few of my family members actually had said this thing of like, you know what, whatever you do, just make sure you do it to the best of your ability, and make sure you become the best at it.
Right. If you do it right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
my mom and my older sister, like they I remember them specifically saying like, whatever you do, we think you'll be successful in it, so just do it. So I was very grateful that I had that support system, but also I had people doubting me too. Like, I had people that were in my family that doubted me, but they just wanted the best for me. Like, I don't hold that against them because
No.
they just saw this kid who was 18 who had no idea about life saying, I want to make YouTube videos and drop out of the one of the best ranked universities in the UK. Like, it made no sense. But it doesn't have to make sense. Like, nothing makes sense. I remember having a conversation with Reno about this a long time ago, where he was just like, bro, you're trying to make sense of everything. Like, stop trying to make sense of everything. We're living in a world right now where, like, I'm vibrating my vocal cords, right?
Yeah.
It's hitting this microphone, transmitted as electrical information through these wires into my PC. Then that's uploaded to a network that's transmitted to your computer. You instantly download that. That then is transmitted as electrical information into your headphones and vibrates things in the headphones, that vibrates things in your eardrums, that takes those electrical bloody impulses to your brain, and then it's processed all in real time for you to be able to understand exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's
What the fuck
insane.
about that makes any sense? Right? Like, none of this makes any sense. When you break it down, none of this makes any sense. So nothing has to make sense. Nothing has to make any sense. And
No.
it certainly made no sense when I decided that I wanted to drop out of university. But, you have to have that delusional belief. And again, I'm grateful that I had some people believe in me, but also having some people doubt me and a little bit of doubt in myself, like, helped push me to be like, you know what, I'm going to prove myself right. I'm going to prove everybody else wrong. And now I have a lot of people looking at me and being like, you know what, that's somebody that has gone out there and chased their dreams and is achieving and succeeding. And they're happy for me, and they want their kids to look up to me now.
Right.
Because I went out there and did it. And some people aren't going to support you until you become successful. That's just how it is.
I don't blame
And that's okay. That makes sense.
I don't blame you.
You gotta do it regardless, man. You gotta do it.
Man, thank you for those words, man. One book that I also like that you've mentioned in one of your multiple times, I think, in your videos, was How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yes.
And what is one lesson from that book that you apply almost unconsciously, like in your daily interactions? You think?
It's about being genuine.
No.
It's about being that is the number one thing that I try to apply to everything. Like this right now, this conversation I'm having with you, I'm not trying to be anybody.
No.
I'm not trying to filter myself down. I'm not like that's why, like, even though I'm a bit ill and, like, I don't know if you can hear it, like, I've got some gunginess in this throat and everything. Like, my nose is full of snot and shit, but, like, I'm just trying to be genuine. I'm trying to create real human connection.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing that I've gotten from that book. Like, don't try and pretend to be somebody that you're not.
Yeah.
When we talk about fake it till you make it, it's like, okay, visualize the best version of you. Visualize the best version of yourself and become that person. That's not somebody else.
No.
That's you. That's still being you. So take that forwards and be genuinely interested in people. Give genuine compliments. And, like, it comes down to even the smallest things. Like, on Instagram, even if somebody that I know or like posts something and I like them as a person, if I don't like the post, like, if I don't think that this is something cool, like, I won't hit like on the post.
No.
And it's not because I have anything against that person. It's that, like, I'm only gonna support and show love and appreciate what is cool, what is good to me, what I genuinely like. And you've got to carry that throughout life. Like, be yourself, be genuine, and treat everybody with kindness and respect, and try and become genuinely interested in people.
Okay. Last question that I had. Thank you for those words, by the way, and, like, thank you for even staying up and doing this podcast with me entirely. Even because I didn't have any credit whatsoever to even for you to, like, let's do this. Like, you had no reason to do this, so I'm very, like, grateful for you.
No, but at the end of the day, I have to repay the favors that other people did to me. Like, there's people who I interviewed to begin with, and I had no credentials.
No.
I had no show.
No.
I had no videos uploaded, but they said yes, and we ran it up. And so I feel like I have a a duty to pass that on to people in the future now as well. And hopefully, when you succeed in the future, you'll do the same thing. You will interact with people and let anybody interview you and move forwards in the same way, because it's very important to put out the energy that you've received from the universe and
Yeah,
keep that cycle going.
yeah. Talking about the things that you get from the universe. In one of your like uh Insta stories, I've studied your Insta stories, bro. You said like that there was like this guy and he was like enjoying his small little thing. He had like a whole conversation about him about like fishing and whatnot. And you came with like the conclusion like that there was like the small joys in life is that keeps you grounded and like are just one of the things that are really important to
Yeah.
you. Um, what are the what are the really like little things for you that really keep you grounded or motivated or like joyful in life?
When I talk about the small things in life,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm very blessed. Like I technically have like the best life ever, because
Yeah.
one, I have a roof over my head. Two, I have enough money to be able to go into the grocery store and buy whatever I want. Like I can get anything in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many people out there who don't have a roof over their head and don't have enough food to eat. So that alone, just that reminder of being like, I'm better off than most people. Have a bed to sleep in. Like you need to have that perspective sometimes. But one thing that really just opened my eyes the other day was I went to the store and I bought a whole watermelon. I bought like a big watermelon for £5.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a big watermelon. And like came home, chopped open a little bit of it, started eating, and I was like, bro, this watermelon's really good. Like this watermelon tastes amazing. And then like chopped off a little bit more, kept on eating it, chopped off a little bit more. And I was like, bro, I'm really out here enjoying this watermelon. Like this watermelon is so nice. So nice. And within like, I think I finished a whole big watermelon in 3 days. Like I didn't even eat like lunch and dinner. I was just eating watermelon. Just kept on eating watermelon, kept on eating watermelon. And it just it's things like that that help you understand the beauty in the small things in life, because that wasn't about like any crazy experience, that wasn't about any crazy achievement. It didn't involve anybody else. It involved me and watermelon, you know. But just being able to have the attention to detail to think to yourself, do you know what, I'm gonna sit here with no music, with no TV on, and just eat this watermelon and enjoy it. Like, you know, assess how sweet it is compared to other watermelons I've had in the past. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, chew it and let the water, like, just eating. And I kept on going back for more, you know? So it's things like that, man. I do appreciate, and I do have a lot of time for like crazy stuff. Like, I did a bungee jump not that long ago and shit. And,
Right.
you know, I'm going to go traveling, and like these big experiences are awesome. But at the end of the day, like, there is no tomorrow. It's just today over and over and over and over and over again. So if
Yeah.
you can figure out how to make a really good today, how to live your life today in a way that you're happy with,
Yeah.
then your life will be amazing. Because if you can't find peace in that, if you can't find peace in today, if you can't construct a really solid day that you enjoy living,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no amount of success, money, fame, or anything that's going to be able to change that for you. You have to be able to find joy in the little things, in the walk around your local area, in the eating of the watermelon, in the food that you eat, in, you know, seeing your family or your friends. Like,
Yeah.
you have to find joy in those things first, because if you can't find joy in those, then you're doomed. You're doomed to never find joy in anything, and constantly be searching for that next hit to give you that life, as opposed to just finding that in the everyday.
Thank you for that, man. Um, so just like being present,
Being present, 100%, dude,
being
100%. Just
present.
like I'm not a big fan of the whole watching YouTube whilst you eat Like I'm guilty of it sometimes,
I do
like
that.
sometimes I'll
I'm
put on
guilty.
like a cool video, but
I'm guilty.
yeah, yeah, and most people are, but I'm a big believer in like just it sounds so stupid, but like enjoying every spoonful of the food,
Yeah,
like chewing it a few more times and thinking
yeah,
like, yeah, this is actually really nice.
right.
Like I made this, like I'm really enjoying this food. Like it sounds silly, but
No, no,
it's
that's
not.
genuine.
It's about just appreciating the small things. Small
Hmm.
things.
Small things, man. Y'all heard. I hope y'all just enjoying this with like people just watching this while they eat. But
Yeah, yeah, guys. If you listen to this whilst you eat, that's okay. I don't have anything against you.
like
But if for
this
your
is
next
this is a
meal,
this is an excuse. It's like this is the past. This is the
yeah, yeah,
past.
for your next meal, like try and just eat the meal. Like don't have any music on. Don't be calling anybody or watching
Yeah.
anything. Just like have the bowl in front of you and pay attention to like every grain of rice that passes through your mouth.
Wow, that's nice. That's some nice words right there. Every
Every grain, like
every
I
great.
want you to count every single grain and be like,
Just
okay,
like
this is what one grain did now.
oh my days. Talking about all the people that are watching right now. I don't even know if like a lot of people are. There probably be millions at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But like taking the directions to them and also to myself, because like I hope that like a lot of creators are watching right now, and I think a problem that most creative like face is time management and getting things done. And I've seen that you use like a method of like checkboxes and to-do list. And
Hmm.
is it the only thing you use, or is there also
Yeah.
other type of way?
So
Like,
the two things that affected my time management the most, well, three things. Number one is monotasking. I am not somebody who's very good at multitasking.
mm,
I'm good at doing one thing at once. I'm good at
mm,
doing one thing at once. So
yeah,
if I need to get stuff done, I'll focus on just that one thing
yeah,
at a time. Sometimes, like, I won't even listen to music whilst working. I'll just be like, just working, not have anything else going on.
mm-hmm,
Um, so being able to just put everything else to one side and only focus on that one thing, you'll be able to get more done in that amount of time. You'll have more focus because you're not trying to split it between multiple things. You'll probably get it done faster. It's just better. It's just better. Monotask,
monetize.
and as opposed to trying to multitask multiple things at once. Number two, to-do lists. I have like almost every day. I don't have one for today, but almost every day I do have to-do lists of like, okay, this is what time I'm gonna wake up, this is what time I'm gonna go eat, this is what time I'm gonna go to the gym, this is what time I'm gonna get this work done, or like sometimes it's not even time related, it's just like, okay, get this amount of work done or get this project done.
Yeah.
um I don't know where the piece of paper is, but like I've posted it on my story, on my Instagram somewhere. When I did a project for Sebi, I did like a full animation for him, and I did like a breakdown post where I talked about the process of making it. And one of the posts was literally just a checklist of all of the different aspects of the animation and what I needed to make. So having like a visual, for me, having a visual representation of all of the different tasks that need to get done, and then the gratification of being able to tick each one off is just really good, because I don't think as human beings we're supposed to be like trying to process and hold so much information in our mind, when instead we can just outsource that to a whiteboard or a piece of paper instead and be like, oh, that's it, now I just need to go into robot mode and get those stuff done. Even now, like across the my PC, I've got like my to-do list for the month there of like, okay, well, I guess just like medium term goals, so like how much money I want to make before going to Japan, booking my Amsterdam trip, which I can tick off now, getting a job done, which I've ticked off, going to the concert, ticked off. Like, and not all of them are like productivity related. Some of them are just like going to a concert,
Yeah.
like ticked off. Um, so just having a way to visualize what it is, so that it's not all in your head and instead it's somewhere else.
Right.
And then the third way that helped me with time management is, the way that I used to do things was like I would prioritize work first and then everything else would come second. And I was constantly in this place where like I'd be procrastinating for a while and then I'd go into like go mode, and nothing else would matter, and I'd only focus on this one thing, and like I wouldn't go to the gym, I wouldn't see people, I wouldn't have fun, I wouldn't do anything. I would just like go into that one mode. But at the end of the day, there's enough time in like the day, in the month, in the year to be able to do multiple things. You don't. There's enough time to be able to do like everything you want to do. You just have to find a way to systemize it. And so the system that works for me is put in immovable, like rigid things, like events that have to happen. So going to the gym at a very specific time, or somebody's birthday that you're trying to attend, or a music video shoot, or like whatever it's going to be, like have all of those in your calendar as very like hard deadlines, immovable, have to be done. And then find a way for the work to fit itself around those things. Because if you're making sure you go to and do all of those other things, you then have to utilize the rest of the time to get the work done around those things. And then you end up with a reality where you've got both of them done. As opposed to, oh my God, I've got so much work to do, nothing else. Oh my God, if I've got time, I'll go and do the other things. No, like nothing ever gets done other than just the work at that point. Whereas if you block those things in so that they're immovable, you have to do them 100%, the work just fits itself around those things. That was the biggest change for me that changed things. Yeah.
Just setting up like specific things that just need to happen, so that like when you have other things that come up, you can just like swoop them right in, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't like, you won't get stressed because like, oh, I have to go to the gym at this time, blah blah blah. But you would just go to the gym and that's it, like point.
Yeah, because like it, like even now, I've not been consistent in the gym because I've not given myself a specific time. The time when I've been most consistent in the gym was I told myself 7:30 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going to the gym. And there's just nothing that's going to stop that. And so for months, I was going to the gym, 3 times a week because it had to happen. And then the work was happening around it. So you have to just have that system in place to have those as concrete things that do not move. Yeah.
Well, I have to wrap it up because I'm not on premium.
That's okay. Is it what was it, 2 hours or something?
2 hours.
Yeah.
Next time we talk, we're going like over 10 hours, bro. Thank you, gentlemen, for like watching this video. I'm here with the Thesabdog. Thank you very much for being on this podcast with me.
Thank you, man.
And if you're watching this in the morning, in the evening, or in the afternoon, I wish you the best day, and that you get in a state of Elysian with the beautiful words that Sab said, and that you get inspired and just get ready to like get your project done. This is Goswell, this is Sab, and we out. Do you have any final words to say?
Yes, if you made it to the end of this podcast, then I want you to message me the word Bumblebee. Last time it was Optimus Prime. This time we're doing Bumblebee. So, yeah, man. And then I'll know that you've got to the end, and I can know how many people like actually tune in, and how many people this can help.
Exactly. Hey, thank you, man.
Bro, it's actually really hard to introduce myself sometimes.
I know.